Today's lesson is all about rational. First, let's have our objectives. Letter A, distinguish rational function from rational equation. Solves rational equation. So we're going to find the value of x or the value of y. Third one is we're going to determine the intercepts, the x and y intercepts, and determine the asymptotes of rational functions. So these are the vertical asymptotes, horizontal asymptotes, or oblique or slant asymptote. Again, vertical asymptote, horizontal asymptote, oblique or slant asymptotes. Let's have first the basic concept. So what is rational expression? So when we say rational expression, it is in the form of P over Q, where P and Q are polynomials. Okay, when we say polynomials, these are the polynomial is under algebraic expression. So when we say algebraic expression, it is a combination of variables, constants, using operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, divisions, and it has no equal sign. So that is for rational expressions. So the expression could be monomial, binomial, trinomial, or polynomial in the form of fraction. So what are those? It could be 2x plus 1 all over 3x plus 2. It could be 1 over x. It could be 3x squared plus 2x plus 1 all over x plus 3. So on and so forth. Again, it is just an expression. It has no equal sign. Okay, now let's proceed to rational equations. So when we say rational equation, it is an equation indicating that the two expressions with at least one term expressed as a rational expression and that are equal. Okay, so when we're dealing with the rational equations, we're dealing with the equal sign. For example, we have 2x plus 1 all over 3x plus 2 is equal to 1 half. Okay, so this is an example of rational equations, or it could be 35 is equal to 1 over x squared plus 3. Okay, the condition is here is at least one term. At least one term expressed as a rational expression. Okay, now let's get with the rational function. So when we say rational function, it is in the form of f of x is equal to p of x all over q of x, where p of x and q of x are polynomials and q of x is not equal to 0. Again, when we say polynomial, it is a mathematical phrase where variables and constants are combined using operations. Okay, and it could be monomial, binomial, trinomial, or polynomial. Okay, so note of this one. When we say rational function, the denominator must not equal to 0 because if the denominator is equal to 0, the function will become undefined. Okay, the function will be undefined. Before, on our first lesson, when we say function, the domain of the functions, we say that the domain of the functions or the domain of any expression is a set of all possible input values. Okay, it is the possible values of x that can we input. But here in a rational function, we have restriction. Okay, because based on our definition, it is in the form of p of x all over q of x, where p of x and q of x are polynomial, and q of x must not equal to 0 because it will become undefined. Because we're dealing with fraction, we're dealing with rational. So here, the domain here, class, is, so the domain of a rational function, it includes all real number except for those that make its denominator 0. Okay, So if you're looking for any possible value of x, the first thing that you're going to do is to consider or to look for the value of an input that if we input on the denominator, it will become 0. Therefore, i-exclude natin siya sa possible domain. Okay? Let's identify which are rational functions. So first one, we have f of x is equal to 2 plus x all over x plus 1. So again, si 2x plus 1 all over x plus 1 is a type of polynomial. It is a binomial, so therefore it is a rational function. Okay. The second one is also a rational function. Okay, this is a combination of trinomial and binomial. The third one, we have h of x is equal to the square root of x plus 2 all over x squared minus 4. Okay, since it has a square root, therefore it is not a rational function. Okay, last, number 4. As you can see here, class, the exponent is in fraction form. So therefore, it is not a rational function. Okay, so remember, madedetermine natin whether a rational is a function or not, magiging not rational function siya. Dalawa lang naman yun, class. First is it has a square root. Okay? It's either on the numerator or square root. It has a square root. It's either on the numerator or in the denominator. The second one, so those square root, class, yung mga not perfect squares, not perfect cubes, not perfect fourth root, fifth root. Okay, so those are those are the things that we need to look for if we are going to determine whether the rational function, whether the function is rational or not. The second one is no negative exponent. If you will see a negative exponent, so therefore, it is not a rational function. Okay, so take note. For rational function, square, not rational function. Okay, magiging not lang siya, class, if it has a square root. It's either on numerator or in the denominator. And let me correct my phrase here. So if it has a negative exponent. Okay? So yun. So yun yung way natin on how we are going to identify whether a function is irrational or not. Now, let's solve for the value of x. So here, class, if you see an equal sign, so therefore we can use the cross multiplication. Our method that we are going to do is cross multiplication. So pag ganito po, diagonal. Okay, so we have 3 times x minus 7 is equal to 2 times 5x. Okay? So what is the purpose of cross multiplication? For us to eliminate the denominator. Okay? Now let's do the distributive property. So 3, didistribute natin siya sa group. So 3 times x is equal to 3x. 3 times negative 7 is equal to negative 21. Then 2 times 5x is equal to 10x. Then combine like terms. 3x minus 10x is equal to positive 21. 3x minus 10x, we will have negative 7x is equal to 21. Divide both sides by negative 7 for us to get the value of x. X is equal to negative 3. Okay, so the roots or our solution is x is equal to negative 3. Now, how can we identify if our answer is correct? Let's do the checking. So for the checking, we're going to use the substitution method. Okay, so let's go back on the original equation. We have 3 3 all over 5x is equal to 2 all over x minus 7. Our x is negative 3, so substitute lang natin siya, class. Okay, so let's simplify the left side first. We have 3. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Let's simplify this one. What is the greatest common factor is 3. So we will have 1 over 5. Do not forget the negative sign. So let's go on the right hand side of the equation. We will have 2, 3 minus 7. Oh, since our x is negative, so negative 3 minus 7 will have negative 10. What is the greatest common factor of 2 and 10? We will have 2. So 1 over negative 5. So since both of the equations are equal or identical, mirror, so therefore, the roots is negative 3. Or other term for root is solution of the equation, of the rational equation. Okay? So let's have another example. So given negative 4 all over x plus 3 is equal to 5 all over x minus 3. Okay, again, we're going to use the cross multiplication method. So negative 4 times x minus 3 is equal to 5 times x plus 3. So distribute lang natin si negative 4 sa loob ng group. So negative 4 times x, we will have negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 3, we will have positive 12 is equal to 5 times x, we will have 5x. 5 times 3, we will have 15. Then combine like terms. Negative 4x minus 5x is equal to 15 minus 12. Let's simplify. Negative 4x minus 5x is equal to negative 9x is equal to 15 minus 12. We will have 3. Divide both sides by negative 9. So we will get the value of x. This one is cancelled. So x is equal to 3 over negative 9. What is the greatest common factor of 3 and 9? It is 3. Then let's have simplify. We have 1 over 3 negative 1/3. Okay, so now let us check whether our root or solution is correct. So by using the substitution method, so we have negative 4x plus 3 is equal to 5 all over x minus 3. So let's substitute 1/3 negative 4, negative 1/3 plus 3 is equal to 5 all over negative 1/3 minus 3. Okay, first thing na gagawin natin is simplify the denominator. So let's do the left hand side denominator. Let's simplify that first. We have negative 1/3 plus 3. So since this is 3, so the denominator is 1. And what is the LCD of 3 and 1? The LCD is 3. So since same na sila ng denominator, just copy the value of the numerator, which is negative 1. So since yung kabila hindi, so so 3 divided by 1, the answer is 3, times 3, the answer is positive 9. Then you simplify that. We will get positive 8 all over 3. Okay. Now, let's input this here. So alam natin, si negative 1/3 plus 3 is equal to 8 over 3. Okay? So we will have negative 4 all over 8 over 3. So according to the rule of the fraction sa division class, so we have negative 4 divided by 8 over 3. Let me write this class na sa ganito kasi mas mabilis nyo siyang magigets. Okay. So sabi, si divisor, which is yung nasa right side ng fraction, i-reciprocal lang natin. So negative 4, we will have, since si whole number ang denominator niyan ay 1. Okay? So ito class, i-reciprocal lang natin. We will have 3 over 8. Then, pag nireciprocal natin siya, i-reciprocal din natin yung operation. So, magiging multiplication. And now, let's multiply. So, kung makikita nyo, pwede tayong gumamit ng cancellation kasi si 4 tsaka si 8, ang greatest common factor nila ay si 4. Or pwede nyo namang diretsuhin na yung rule ng multiplication sa fraction. Numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator. So, since pwede naman natin silang makancel, let's do the cancel. So, since ang greatest common factor ni 4 at 8 ay 4, so 4 divided by 4, the answer is 1. 4 divided by 8, the answer is 2. Now, let's multiply it now. So, 1 times 3, we will have 3. 1 times 2, we will have 2. Okay? So, meaning, yung nasa left-hand side natin is 3 halves. So, let me write here, 3 halves. Now, we have to prove that the left-hand side is also equal to the right-hand side. Okay. So, let me put this one. Yan. Okay, let's proceed. Let's do the right-hand side. Right-hand side. Okay, let's have negative 1/3 minus 3. Again, the denominator of the whole number is 1. Let's get the LCD. The LCD is 3. So, since same na sila, so copy na lang natin si negative 1, then and let's perform to the other one. So, 3 divided by 1, we will have 3. Then, 3 times 3 is equal to 9. So, dito negative siya. Okay? And then, let's simplify. We will get negative 10 all over 3. Alam natin na this one is negative 10 all over 3. Okay, lagyan ko lang ng parenthesis yung isa class. Okay, this one. Okay. Next, let's simplify it. Let me choose other color. Okay, so alam natin na 5 all over negative 10 over 3. So, para mas mabilis natin yan mag-gets class, so gagantuhin na natin. 5 divided by negative 10 over 3. Ang rule natin sa divisor is reciprocal. So, 5 over 1, 3 over 10. Since na reciprocal na, i-reciprocal na rin yung operation. So, kung mapapansin nyo dyan, class, may greatest common factor si 5 tsaka si 10. So, pwede tayong mag-cancellation. So, since the greatest common factor is 5, so 5 divided by 5, the answer is 1. And 5 divided by 10, the answer is 2. Then, now we can get the product. Okay, so 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. So, this is the answer. So, sa right-hand side, we also get 3 halves. So, therefore, true equation siya. So, therefore, the roots or the solution is x is equal to 1/3. Okay, the roots is 1/3 or x is equal to 1/3. Okay, let's have more example. Okay, again, we will do the cross multiplication. So, 1 times 5 minus x is equal to 1 times x. So, distribute nyo si 1 sa loob ng group, we will have 5 negative x is equal to x. Then, combine like terms. So, negative x minus x is equal to, let me align class, no? So, negative x minus x is equal to negative 5. Negative 2x is equal to negative 5. Divide both sides by negative 2 for us to get the value of x. So, this one is cancelled. Since negative 2 divided by negative 2, the answer is positive 1. So, x is equal to positive 5 halves. Now, let's determine whether our roots is correct or not. Okay, let's substitute. So, from the original equation, we have 1 over x is equal to 1 over 5 minus x. Okay, let's substitute. So, we have 1 all over 5 halves and 1 all over 5 minus 5 halves. Okay, so first, let's do the left-hand side. So, 1 all over 5 halves is also equal to 1 divided by 5 halves. We can do the Rules now. So, alam natin ng whole number, ang denominator ay 1. So, 1 over 1. Reciprocal natin si divisor. So, magiging 2 over 5. Once na reciprocal, i-reciprocal natin yung operation. So, magiging multiplication. Then, get the product. So, 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 5 is 5. So, here, class, ang nakuha nating value ng left-hand side is 2 over 5. So, let me write here 2 over 5. Now, let us see kung yung nasa right-hand side ay same lang ng makukuha nating value. Okay, so right-hand side. So, sa right-hand side, we have 1 all over 5 minus 5 halves. So, the first thing that we're going to do to simplify the denominator, our denominator is 5 minus 5 halves. Okay, so over 1 yan, get the LCD. The LCD is 2 since it is 1 and 2. So, 2 divided by 1, the answer is 2. 2 times 5, the answer is 10. Then, since same na silang denominator, copy na lang natin. So, we will have 5 halves. Okay, so balik tayo dito. So, we will have 1 over 5 halves. Then, let me write it in this way. Okay, so ito 1 over 1. So, 2 over 5 kasi reciprocal natin siya. Then, reciprocal the operation. Then, we will get a 2 over 5. So, same lang nung nasa left hand side. So, this is a true or this is the solution. So, 5 halves is the solution of the equation. So, our conclusion, the solution is 5 halves, or the root is 5 halves, or x is equal to 5 halves. Okay, let's have another example. So, as you can see here, class, no, binomial over binomial. Tapos sa kabilang sa right-hand side naman is monomial over binomial. Okay, so same process, cross multiplication. So, we will have y plus 3 times 1 minus y minus 1 is equal to 4 times y minus 1. Then, let's simplify. Okay, so let's distribute this one. So, we will get y squared negative y plus 3y minus 3. So, we will get y squared plus 2y minus 3 is equal to, distribute natin to class, 4y minus 4. Then, let's combine like terms. So, y squared plus 2y minus 4y minus 3 plus 4 is equal to 0. Since nakita nyo, class, no, na naka-second degree yan, quadratic yan. So, meaning, ipa-factor out natin yan. Kaya, i-equal natin siya sa 0. Let's simplify. So, y squared, 2y minus 4y, the answer is negative 2y. Negative 3 plus 4, we will have plus 1 is equal to 0. Now, let's get the factor of this one. The factors are 1, 1, then y, and negative, negative. Okay, so para sure tayo, i-double check natin. So, punta dito sa kabilang gilid. Y minus 1 times y minus 1. Y squared, negative y, positive 1. Y squared minus 2y plus 1. So, tama naman yung factor natin. Now, the next step would be, so, y minus 1 is equal to 0, so y is equal to 1. So, since parehas naman sila, class, so isa na lang yung kukunin natin. So, y is equal to 1. Now, we need to determine whether the value of y is the root of the equation. Now, let's do the checking. Let's substitute from the original equation. So let me rewrite it again here. Okay, so the value of y is 1. So 1 plus 3, 1 minus 1 is equal to 4 over 1 minus 1. So as you can see, class, on the denominator, here on the denominator, to 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. So, ang magiging itsura niya, class, is 4 all over 0 is equal to 4 all over 0. So, kung iisipin nyo, identical sila. Same sila kasi 4 all over 0. But the idea, class, is this is undefined. So, therefore, this rational equation has no solution. Okay, so it has no solution. In other books, they call it extraneous solution. Okay, so when we say extraneous solution, class, it does not solve, or it does not solve the solution. It does not show the solution, or it make the rational equation false. Okay? Kasi nag-undefined siya. Okay? So, our conclusion here, class, so therefore, it has no solution. Okay. Let's have another one. Okay. So, let's do the cross multiplication again. We will have x squared times x plus 1. 1 times x plus 1. So, class, no, nakarami na tayo ng example. Baka tanongin nyo, ma'am, pwede ba mag-interchange yung dalawa? Yes. Pwede mag-interchange. Pwedeng mauna si x1, x plus 1 times x squared is equal to x plus 1 times 1. So, pwede yung class. Because according to the commutative property, a times b is also the same with b times a. So, yung product nila, it will not affected or it will not change. Okay, now let's distribute the x squared to the group. So we will have x cubed plus x is equal to x plus 1. X squared rather. Okay. Now, as you can see, naka-cube root siya, class. So, ipa-factor natin to. So, i-equate natin siya sa 0. So, let's combine them. X cubed plus x squared minus x minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay. Now, since it is in a cube root, it is cubic rather, class. So, ang highest degree niya is 3. So, we cannot do the normal factoring. Okay? Sabi ko nga sa inyo, class, before, if you ever watched the pre-recorded video last time, if you cannot identify the factor of a cubic equation, class, so all you have to do is to think of an expression that if you're going to divide it, or think of a factor na if you're going to divide it, there is no remainder. So since it is a cube, so let's start with x minus 1 again. Okay, so let's divide x minus 1 dito sa nakuha natin na x cubed plus x squared minus x minus 1. So, remember, pag division, we are after with the consecutive in terms of degrees. So, since yung degrees naman natin dito, class, wala tayong problema because we have 3, 2, 1, and 0. So, sunod-sunod naman siya. Okay, now let's divide this one. We're going to use the long method. Okay, so x cubed over x is equal to x squared. So, x squared. X squared times x, we will have x cubed. X squared times negative x, we will have negative x squared. Then, minus. Distribute si minus sign sa loob. So, we will have negative, we'll have positive. So, this one is equal to 0. So, x squared plus x squared, you will have 2x squared. Then, you bring down negative x. Then, you divide it again. 2x squared divided by x, the answer is 2x. Okay, so plus 2x. 2x times x, you will have 2x squared. 2x times negative 1, we will have negative 2x. Then, subtract. Distribute si negative sign sa loob ng group. So, we will have negative and we will have positive. So, this one is equal to 0. Negative x plus 2x, we will have positive x. Then, bring down negative 1. Then, x divided by x, the answer is 1. Bakit naging 1? What is the exponent of the variable x? We will have 1. So, according to the quotient rule, same base, subtract the exponent. So, 1 minus 1 is equal to x raised to 0. Any number raised to 0 or any variable raised to 0, the answer is always equal to 1. Okay, so here we have plus 1. So, 1 times x is x. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. Then, distribute the negative sign inside the group. So, we will have negative and positive. So, since x minus x is 0 and negative 1 plus 1 is 0, okay, so we don't have remainder. So, we can say that the factor of x cubed plus x squared minus x minus 1 is this one. X minus 1 and x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, so we're not still done because as you can see, si x squared plus 2x plus 1 is not yet in the factor form. So, copy natin si x minus 1. Factor natin ngayon si x squared plus 2x plus 1. We will get x here, and 1, 1. Positive, positive. Okay? So, these are the factors of x cubed plus x squared minus x minus 1. Now, if nag-aalinlangan ka, if the factors of x plus 1 is the factor of x squared plus 2x plus 1, do the FOIL method. Okay? Pag bumalik ka dito, meaning that your factor is correct. Okay, now, the idea here, our factor here is x is equal to positive 1 and x is equal to negative 1. Paano nangyari yon? Okay, let me do it again. So, x minus 1 is equal to 0. That's why x is equal to positive 1. So, ayan yung isang factor. Then, dahil same lang naman na sila, x plus 1, isa na lang yung gagawin natin, class. So, x is equal to negative 1. Now, we need to determine kung kung factor ba sila or solution ba sila or roots ba sila ng equation. Now, let's do the checking. Okay, let's do the checking here. Okay, so we will have x squared all over x plus 1 is equal to 1 all over x plus 1. So, let's start with x is equal to 1. So, if x is equal to 1, so 1 squared, 1 plus 1 is equal to 1 over 1 plus 1. So, as you can see, class, no? The numerator is 1, then the denominator is 2. The numerator is 1 and the denominator is 2. So, therefore, x is equal to 1 is the solution. Now, let's check the negative 1. Okay, so negative 1, we have 1, negative 1, squared all over negative 1 plus 1 is equal to 1 all over negative 1 plus 1. So, kung mapapansin nyo, class, dun sa denominator, mag-0 siya. Sa numerator, negative 1 squared is equal to 1. All over negative 1 plus 1 is 0. 1 all over 0 din yung kabila. So, ang mangyayari dito, class, it will become undefined. Okay, so meaning, say, x is equal to negative 1 is not a solution. So, our conclusion here is therefore, the solution is positive 1. Okay, or, therefore, the roots, let me correct it, the root, okay, therefore, or you can say also therefore the root is positive 1. Okay, so since nag-undefined si negative 1, we're not going to use that 1 kasi it will make the function undefined. Okay, so let's have the last example. So as you can see here, class, we have an operation. So uh, earlier, the first step that we are always doing is cross multiplication. But here, we need to simplify first the the left hand side before we cross multiplication. Okay, so let's get first the LCD of x and 2. Okay, so we will have, by the way, mas maganda class kung i-eliminate muna natin yung denominators nila para mas mabilis. Okay? So, since pwede natin silang i-multiply both side by 2x. Okay? So since naglalaro lang naman ang denominator sa x and 2. So, let's use 2x. Then, dito tayo sa pinakauna. 2x divided by x. 2x divided by x, the answer is 2. Then 2 times the numerator, which is 3, it is equal to 6. So this one is 6 plus 2x divided by 2, the answer is x, times 1, the answer is x. And then 2x divided by x, the answer is 2, times 10, times 5, no? Nauna na, no? Nauna ko na siyang kunin yung product. Okay, times 5, the answer is 10. So this is 10. Okay, and then x is equal to 10 minus 6. X is equal to 4. Okay, so this is the easiest way. Tanggalin muna natin yung denominator and then let's simplify. Okay, so now we need to determine whether our root is correct or not. Let's do the checking. So let's go back on the original equation. We have 3 over x plus 1/2 is equal to 5 over x. So since our x is 4, let's substitute it. 3 over 4 plus 1/2 is equal to 5 all over 4. Let's get the LCD of the left-hand side. So the LCD is 4. Okay, so since same na sila, kopyahin na lang natin si 3. So 4 divided by 2, the answer is 2. Times 1, the answer is 2. Is equal to 5/4. 3 plus 2 is 5 all over 4. So, nag-equal si left-hand side kay right-hand side. So, therefore, the solution is 4. The root is 4. So, it's either of the two. Okay?